Okay, we're continuing our tour through here. Now, what's all this stuff?
This is a 3/4 ton. They started building these in the 50s.
Right. Okay.
And we have 3 half-tracks in here that were built by White Motor Company in 1942. Half-tracks were used both in World War II and Korea.
Wow. And what's this thing right here? It says desert.
Yeah, it's a half-track.
That's a half-track. That was used to transport people, right?
That is part of it. This is what they call a skate rail. That's where they mounted the machine guns.
Oh, and that thing rolled around.
Right.
Oh, so that guy was sitting up inside there. Wow.
And they could carry troops. They built out a 1/4-inch armor plate. They weigh approximately 20,000 pounds.
And they called that the Tormentor. Wow.
That half-track over there has got the quad 50s on it.
Okay, go show me that, sir. That looks interesting.
This has 450 caliber machine guns.
Wow. Now, how many people sit up on that?
One.
One guy can operate.
Would operate, and the guns are electrically fired.
So how many rounds can they shoot out of those 4 guns, sir? Per minute?
It's probably around 2,400.
2,400 rounds a minute. That's enough to clear a forest out, isn't it?
But they had to fire them in burst. Otherwise,
what's that called?
Well, all the machine guns, the older ones at least, they had to fire in burst.
Otherwise they catch up, or they'd melt the barrel.
Right.
That's how fast they fire.
Right.
Wow. Okay, now what is this thing here?
This was used in World War II to tow heavy artillery and carry the crew and the ammunition.
This stuff is like in mint condition. You guys restore this?
Yes. And we
Wow.
do restoration in 2 farm shops.
Wow. Now, do you guys get funding, or?
No.
This is all volunteer stuff.
It's all volunteer, and we operate on donations.
Right on. What's that thing? Oh, that's a spotlight.
That's a World War II anti-aircraft searchlight.
Oh, it is?
We put out 800 million candle power.
Wow, so they can see anything, huh? Okay. Anything else of interest in this room?
World War II fire kit.
Let's go look at that. Look at this thing. I'd love to have this. That'd make a cool ice cream rig.
Used in the F-86 fighter and the B-36 bomber and B-47 bomber.
So this is a jet engine from when?
1950s.
1950s. Out of a what?
A F-86 fighter, a B-36 bomber, and a B-47 bomber.
Wow. Okay.
In 1919, the Army sent a convoy from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco.
Okay, and this is pictures of that?
These are pictures of that. They were taken locally.
Uh-huh.
They stayed overnight at the fairgrounds in Lexington. They traveled the old Lincoln Highway.
Really?
And nothing was paved. They got stuck in the sand, as you can see.
And this happened right here in Lexington?
Right.
Now what's this picture of, sir?
That was a lunch break.
That was lunch break of that convoy?
Right.
Wow. Okay.
And Eisenhower was a lieutenant colonel. There's a picture of him.
He was in it?
He went along as an observer.
Dwight Eisenhower.
Right. He was a lieutenant colonel, 28 years old.
He was on that convoy.
And that's when he got his first ideas about an interstate highway system.
No kidding.
And then later he saw the Autobahn.
And this happened in 1919?
Right. For the
Wow.
90th anniversary of that, the Military Vehicle Preservation Association sponsored a convoy, again from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco. We provided lunch for that convoy here at the museum on the 26th of June. When they arrived here, there were approximately 50 vintage military vehicles and 20 chase vehicles.
Wow. That's cool.
5,000 of these Mack trucks built for the Army.
And what is this, sir?
It's a Mack truck.
This is a Mack truck.
Yeah, almost 5,000 of those were built for the Army in World War I.
Now, this is like the Mack they got driving on the road today?
Right.
So it's the same brand?
Same brand.
So Mack has been making trucks for, how old is this thing?
They started building this model in 1916. And this one was found on a farm in eastern Nebraska and restored by the telephone pioneers of America.
So Nebraska is just full of history, military history.
Most of the World War II vehicles we've got came from within 150 miles from here.
No kidding.
After World War II, you couldn't buy trucks or tractors. The government had programs where veterans could get vehicles. They pulled disc and plows with Jeeps and 3/4 tons. When they got done with them, they just parked them someplace.
Wow, and this is where they end up. How many visitors you get here a year, sir?
Approximately 10,000.
So I'm just one of them. Now, mostly in the summertime?
Mostly in the summertime, but we are open 7 days a week, year-round.
Wow.
And this year, our attendance is way up.
Is it really?
This is a 1942 Chevy ton-and-a-half. When we found this truck, it was being used as a wrecker in Julesburg, Colorado.
No kidding. And look at that. That is like brand new.
And this next one, the 1945 GMC 2.5 ton. When we found it, it was being used as a feed truck in a Kansas feedlot.
Wow. Okay, now here you have the, oh my God, this is the MASH ambulance.
And this, we're just starting to work on a MASH display.
Really? And you're talking about the TV show here. That's my favorite show, you know.
The most asked question we get about this is, are we going to have a still in the tent?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Now, this is the tent?
That's the tent.
And MASH was what? That's not...
Korea.
That's Korean War. Okay, so here's the tent.
And we're just setting it.
Now, this is a real MASH tent.
Well, it's a little smaller than their hospital tents were.
But this is authentic Korean tent. A MASH unit.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, now what's these over here?
Okay, these were both built by Kaiser Jeep. They started building these trucks about 1966.
Okay.
That was a 1.25 tons. This one has a contact maintenance box on it. It's got a generator in the back.
Now these were...
This one here was originally at Offutt Air Force Base in Omaha.
Really?
When it went surplus, it went to the O'Neill Fire Department in Nebraska. Then we got it.
And then you guys got a hold of it. And there's the generator.
The generator's inside, but you can get 240 volts, 120. It's got a welder. You can jump start anything from 6 to 32 volts.
So that would run a little city. That generator, just the generator.
Yeah, it wouldn't run a very big city.
But it would do put out some serious power. Okay, then we got some Jeeps.
Those two are Vietnam era.
Oh, are they? Totally restored, and then you got a trailer with some guns in it.
Well, those are guns that fire with, they use propane and oxygen. They don't do anything but make a lot of noise.
Really? Okay.
On this Jeep, we put the wire cutter. Because back in World War II in Korea, they string piano wire across the roads.
Who, the enemy?
Yes. They decapitate people. So
so that's what...
That's the wire.
That was to cut the wire before it cut anybody's heads off.
Right.
Holy cow.
This one's got the tongue on front for hooking two Jeeps in tandem to tow heavy artillery.
Really? Wow. Okay.
We try to represent all services. This is Air Force.
They got that pale blue.
Yep. The next one's Navy.
Okay. And what is this, sir?
This is what they call a mule. They started building these in the 50s. It can carry more than its own weight. It weighs about 700 pounds, can carry 1,000 pounds plus a driver.
And where's the engine at?
In the back. They've got a pull rope up front. 2-cylinder air-cooled engine.
That's how you start. Now, how often do you start this stuff up?
Fairly often. If we're going downtown or we're going to Walmart, we'll take a Jeep for a 3/4 ton.
Oh, you'll take it for a ride?
Yep. And we drive the bigger stuff around the lake.
Okay.
When you take a half-track to Ampride to get gas, you do get some attention.
Right on.
These are both World War II Dodges. This is a 3/4 ton weapons carrier. The ambulance version, the rare, there's only less than 15 of those still in existence.
The ambulance is what now?
It's rare. There's less than 15 of them still in existence.
Really? Wow. Now these are all out of use, right?
Yeah, these are World War II.
A Dodge 3/4 ton, that's what I drive. That's a 3/4 ton? That's all that is?
Yes.